Welcome to the Temple of Geek podcast. My name is Kari, and I will be your host as we share our thoughts on House of the Dragon, episode 8, season finale. Yes. If you haven't watched the show, save this episode for later and come back because there are going to be spoilers. If this is your first time tuning into the Temple of Geek podcast, welcome. The Temple of Geek podcast has been around since 2012 and is hosted by various geeks from the Temple of Geek team. Here we cover all manner of geek and pop culture news and events. To our returning listeners, thank you again for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here. All right, so as always, as every episode, I have my two amazing guests here with us today. We have our returning lore master, Miss Lady Dragon JJ.
Thank you.
Have my fellow entertainment correspondent from Temple of Geek, my girl Sue. Thank you guys again for being here. It's exciting. Yeah, it's this episode, bro. It's a lot to talk about. Heavy. We finally got a lot of stuff that Game of Thrones did not give us. And I'm happy. So, but yeah, let's start off with general thoughts about the episode. JJ, what did you think about the episode?
So when we first did the episode 1 for Temple of Geek for the House of the Dragon, I wore a Stark shirt to honor, Cregan's Stark appearance. I'm wearing it today because we are getting some First Men Weirwood Old Gods magic that I have been begging for for so long. So that's what the shirt is for in honor of that. Like, I was speechless. As you guys know, we were messaging back and forth, like, speechless. I cannot believe that we have to wait 2 years. Oh my God. All of the pieces on the chessboards have been set up, and I think it was done in a very beautiful way. Like, this episode was very engaging, lore heavy, magic heavy, politics heavy, dialogue heavy. Like, it managed to squeeze in all of the best aspects of Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire world into a little over an hour long. So 10 out of 10. I can't believe we have to wait till 2026.
Too long. Way too long. Sue, general thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, same. I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing everything come together, and they tied up all of the storylines throughout the season really, really well. Obviously, they leave us on a big cliffhanger, which was kind of expected given how that this show is multiple seasons long. And I'm glad that they took the time this season to actually set everything up and also have all of the characters go through the necessary character arcs in order to get them to where they need to be before the war officially starts. Yeah, the magic stuff I really enjoyed. I was kind of a little not iffy about it, but I was curious about how they were going to do it throughout the season because they've been sort of giving us little bits and pieces here and there. But this episode really, really dove into it. There's going to be a lot to discuss for that one. I think overall, really, really great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and same for me. It was just the whole time I was going crazy when we were getting all the Daemon, magic lore stuff, because I know that's one thing that JJ always brings up a lot, that this fantasy world is heavy on this, and we didn't get that with Game of Thrones. So seeing this finally get into it, and I love all the mysticism and all the weirdness and all that stuff. It was just beautiful. It was amazing. And like Sue said, I absolutely love that, being that I thought, that we were going to get some type of fighting already started in this season. But now that we got to the end, I'm glad to know that the reason why they were taking so much time with say, for example, Daemon with his haunted house thing and storyline and stuff.
Luigi Mansion.
But there was a reason for that. And, yeah, I know, Luigi's Mansion. But there was a reason for that. I mean, they could have a little bit shorter, but I thought I wasn't into it because I thought we were already going to get into the war, to the actual fighting. And I was like, okay, this is taking too long. When is Daemon going to snap out of it so he could go and do what he has to do? But now we know why. Because this season was supposed to be just that, setting everything up. And the next season is going to be the action stuff, all the actual fighting, now that all the politics is done. We're done with the politicking and everything, right? So, but yeah, that was really cool. I can't wait to delve in. So let's get into it. All right, so we start off with a light scene. I'm going to say a light scene because it was, with Lannister, trying to talk Thailand to Lannister, trying to get talking to the pirates. They're pirates, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In Essos,
They're called the
trying to
triarchy.
get
Yeah.
the Cherokee. There you go. He's trying to get those boats, so he's trying to negotiate with them, and they're like, "Yo, bro,
They
we
want
want
a
everything.
lot. They are.
Oh, they
We
asked for
want all of this.
everything.
They were
Yeah, you
asking
got the
for
money.
arm
We
and a
want that
leg,
shit."
literally.
But then they settled for the Stepstones, which is crazy. JJ, can you shed some light into that? Like, why? Because I remember Thailand saying that the Stepstones have always had like a conflict of wanting to, I guess, claim it or something.
Stepstone is a very interesting location in Song of Ice and Fire. It used to be a connector of both continents, because both continents are kind of separated by the narrow sea. It used to be connected. So two things might have happened, one or the other, or both at the same time. The seas rose and flooded the arm. It's called the Arm of Dorne. Or there's some magic involved of children of the forest invoking a hammer of waters and breaking the arm off so that they stop the invaders from invading their continent. There's a lot of cool things happening on Stepstones. It's pirates kind of rule that area. That's where they trade. That's where they pirate around, I guess. So they kind of claim that dominion over it and always fight over it. So for them, it's an important area, and they get an easier access to Westerosi coast through it as well. So yeah, they reside in those areas quite a bit. So a lot of conflict in those areas. Being, and again, the history of it too, being that it used to be a connecting thing with both continents like this. So,
And then Thailand is over here offering it up without even consulting with, the crown or anything. He's like, all right, fine.
I'm gonna get I'm gonna get like hung for this. And then we finally see Abigail Thorne. Like, I didn't know when she was gonna make her appearance on the series as Lohar, Shakara Lohar.
Lohar. That was so cool.
They don't say her first name, but what was I gonna say? That character is a male in the book, and they gender bent it to a female character, which is fantastic. It makes no impact on the story if they do that or not. So, and she was great. The banter with Thailand, whom I win. I was like, oh no! Oh my god, people are gonna. My name is Thailand. We're only about a century plus away from the Tywin. It was great. They were mud wrestling, and she wants to have his babies.
That had me. She had me dying. She's like, all right, so you're good. You're strong. All right, so now you're
strong.
Now I want you to give me children. So you're gonna go and fuck my wives.
How many you have?
Oh, but how many you got?
You can see the fear on his face of how many women?
Oh god!
How many I gotta go have sex with? What? Oh my god, that was amazing. That was so great. I loved it. I love that we got that little bit, that little bit of humor, because it's been so serious all the whole time.
Yeah, it was. The whole episode is pretty serious.
Yeah. And she pulls his leg earlier too, after the mud wrestle, when she's like, "Have you ever feasted on the flesh of your enemy or something?" And he's just like, "No," and she's like, "Are you going to deny my hospitality?" And he's just standing there like,
"What else do I do?"
He's like, I don't want to eat people, but I can't say no. I need her army. Like,
Tyler was about to become a cannibal for ship.
He was considering it. Oh man!
And Triarchy, this is their opportunity to get a Corlys, a sea snake, in his ship. So they will jump at the opportunity, and now they're getting paid and all that by the crown. It was nuts.
That's gonna be insane, seeing that battle on sea. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna finally see Corlys do his thing with Aaron by his side.
Because
The armor.
Stepstones, we just see it on shore. We don't see any of it happening
It
like
was
in
off
the sea.
screen.
So
A lot of the battles happened
yeah,
off
a lot of it
screen.
was off
So
screen. And what we
Yeah.
did see of it was mostly on land. But yeah, this is. I really hope we get the actual.
And that's
sea
what I'm
part of it too
hoping
this time.
that since next season, hopefully, it's just going to be all just us seeing constant battles, so that we don't have to see just bits and pieces or off screen stuff. Like we get the time to like see how they're battling and how they're fighting each other and stuff. So I think
it's
that's
like
gonna
almost
be
they
good.
were preserving their budget just for like season 3 and the wrap up. Like I think season 4 is going to be final. So I think it's 4. I think they can. Well, the way I don't know anymore. Like I thought we are going to have a major thing happen at the end of this season. I was pretty sure that did not happen. We're still kind of ways from it. So we
A
could
little
be
ways
seeing
from it.
5 maybe seasons.
Maybe. That's sort of what Kari and I were talking about. Like, if they are going to do the 5 seasons, they could really like focus on the war in the next 2 seasons, and then the 5th season could be kind of like the grand finale of it all, and then maybe even a little bit of like the consequences moving forward of what happens, or kind of like giving us a little bit more of the aftermath of it. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the
That's gonna
show's
be.
popular. HBO
Yeah.
might do it. So who knows? Who knows?
I mean, they're making
Yeah.
money. They're not going to
They,
lose money regardless. So
Exactly.
nope.
Exactly.
yeah. So next thing we have is Laris going to Aegon. We see, Aegon is doing a little bit better. Has
He's
more
talking a
into
little bit
he's more
better.
into his
Yeah.
senses. Yeah, exactly. And Laris is being cool headed. He's planning ahead. Like that dude is smart.
Very.
Um,
He remains the smartest character on the show by far. He's like, you, Aemon, the Prince Regent, and Rhaenyra are gonna essentially it's gonna be carnage, and you're just gonna come back and swoop in as a savior. It's exactly what he was saying there. Like he wants to smuggle him out, and Aegon initially is like, I can't run away. I'm the king. I'm like, he's gonna kill you. He's unhinged. He literally just burned an entire village as a response to the dragon seeds taking the dragons. Like that's not an equal amount. Like that's not an equal measure to respond like that. Because do you know what I mean? Like he burned the entire Sharp Point, like all of the people, like the walls, the whole thing. So he's utterly like unhinged. But you could tell
And
it's.
is Sharp?
I'm sorry.
Is Sharp Point like? Do they have any say on which side they're on? Like, were they like Team Black or
Obviously,
it
Team
was just
Black.
like happens to be? Oh, they would. Okay, so they would have been Team Black.
Well,
but
no,
just like kind of on the way
Aemon
home.
would not. I mean, Aemon is nuts. I don't think he would burn his own allies. So
okay.
But Aegon initially doesn't want to leave, but then Larys is like, "Yeah, you're not safe here. Not just from Rhaenyra coming in with her 7 dragons, but with your own brother trying to kill you." So, and then like uh, the way they incorporated some of the nicknames, which I found very interesting, is like you're gonna come back as a savior. I wrote it down: Aegon the Victorious, Aegon the Peacemaker, and then Aegon himself says Aegon the Realm's Delight, which is a nickname that Rhaenyra earns throughout Fire and Blood. So I found that interesting, that
okay.
change. That he refers
He
to
called
himself
him
as the Realm's
also Aegon the Rebuilder. I think it was Aegon the
Oh, the
Rebuilder.
Rebuilder. Okay, so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's just
yeah.
literally gassing him up. Like he's like, "You're gonna come
Oh
back
yeah,
and clean up the carnage between your brother and Rhaenyra." So.
yeah. Also, he said that he had planned, like he put, basically he did a tax haven, a Panama, with putting money somewhere in Bravo. he Panama, he Switzerland, like using money and stuff in Bravos.
Offshore
He's like, yo, I got
accounts.
some offshore account. He got the offshore
I'm
account in
sorry.
Bravos.
He like was
So
he's literally, like Sue said, 10 steps ahead. He's like preparing for literally the next a year to what's gonna happen. So he's prepping for Aegon's safety and his well being away from the carnage.
yeah. But I also like that, because Lara's always like, came out as somebody that's very just manipulative and for himself, which yeah, I know he is. But the way he's really looking out for Aegon, I guess he took even more pity on him now that Aegon is crippled, because it's kind of like, well, now I understand you, and I know how
They
you feel,
definitely share
and what
their
it is.
disabilities now in they have
Yeah,
their disabilities
yeah.
in common, and I'm sure he sees himself maybe a little bit in there as well. Like they will pity you, they will underestimate you. Like don't let them. Reminds me a lot about like Tyrion in the current saga of him being like a small person, a dwarf.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And not only
the
that, like the
cripples, the
whole brother
bastards,
thing,
and the
because
broken things.
Harwin was like the most, like the stronger brother and the most liked brother. And I guess he sees that Aegon is the same thing with Aemond. Like Aemond is the stronger brother out of, the smarter one out of both of them and stuff. So it's like a parallel right there that he probably sees between himself as well.
And he also recognizes how unhinged Aemond is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he,
Absolutely. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Dude
Allison
is,
does.
oh, but
Uh, Elena does. Like everybody's recognizing, like he's like sharp point
he's
reaction
crazy.
was not equal to Dragon Seeds claiming dragons. Like that
Yeah,
was nuts. That opening with the
yeah,
burned bodies moment.
absolutely. And then we get confirmation that Soundfire actually died, which fucking
That
sucks.
that's what Aegon says. I don't know if that's in universe confirmation because we don't see the dragon die. Like Sunfire, at least in the book, is still alive, pretty harmed, injured, but he was alive. So this, if they change that, it's a massive change.
Hmm.
I
I wonder if
No,
maybe
because
they
I
just
don't know,
left
because
Sunfire.
maybe
Oh,
do you
it could
think
just be
maybe
that
they
they
just
left
left
Sunfire
them?
for dead and they never like confirmed it, and so
checked on
that's
him.
what
Yeah,
Aegon think. Yeah, nobody's ever checked on him. There's no word coming back because it's not like the most important thing right now to be reporting back on. But could be that Sunfire's still out there at Rook's Rest,
right. We're
barely
only like we're
clutching on to
taking it.
life.
Aegon's word is truth. So it just depends, like who told him, like, hey, your dragon died, or do you think your dragon died? So I don't know. Like I'm not gonna take his con- confession or his saying of that as an actual confirmation until we see Sunfire literally crawling through Rook's Rest.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
At any
After
rate,
that,
Sunfire's not doing well.
no, poor thing. He's fucked
Yeah,
up. Like
poor
his
thing.
wing got
Oh,
destroyed. His wing got
yeah, he
many
burnt
points
up.
to him and that poor thing, and then freaking
I'm just
Vagar's
saying
burning him like that.
he better be okay. There's some big stuff coming up for Sunfire, at least in the book. And I don't know how they're gonna do that. I that is a major change if Sunfire is officially dead. We'll have to wait for the commentary after the episode to find out from the showrunner.
Oh, right, right, right. See if they how they what they say. Yeah, we see Reina
In
looking for
Vale,
Sheep
yep,
Stealer, my poor girl.
she is still
Like
looking for
and
sheep the
she's been
whole
at it for days.
She's
Like
like
nobody
tired,
knows.
thirsty. Nobody noticed that she was gone. Like
Yeah,
maybe they are looking for her, but we don't know. I don't know how many days
that's
has it been
true.
now.
It's at least one day or 2 days because we do see her like sleeping outside. Like we see her like throughout the entire episode, and I don't know if they're like following, if it's like at the same like timeline or whether they're just showing scenes of her. But it's at least like a couple days, and then towards the end we see her like all muddied up. There's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
grime all over her face. So it's
The
been
way
a
she
few
like
days at
she
least.
she she was like when she found a little bit of water, like she was like
She was
going
just
at it, trying to
drinking it
drink
She
real
it.
runs
fast.
to
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Poor
yeah.
girl. Like
But
she
I'm
Yeah,
was.
she's
glad that
been
she
at it for a
finally
while.
freaking found him. Holy
We have
shit!
Yeah.
sheep stealer. I did not think we were gonna get any of the wild dragons this season. 'Cause first of all, they were saying, "Oh, we're gonna get wild dragons. We're gonna get wild dragons," and I'm like, "We're creepy towards the end of season 2. We still haven't gotten cannibal, no gray ghosts, no sheep stealer, none of this." I'm like, "What's going on?" And then a payoff at the end, like patience is
Yeah,
virtue that I don't have
yeah,
apparently.
yeah, yeah. We don't have patience because we're
No,
like, yo,
none
what the hell's
No.
whatsoever.
going on?
None
No, I wanted
whatsoever.
to see like the full
But
bonding scene, but
yeah,
I
I wanted to see
understand.
Reina
I
with her
get it.
freaking dragon. Would have loved to see her bonding. Hopefully, I mean,
I want to. I want to see her in relation to him. He
Hmm.
looked really
That's
small.
true.
Like I was telling you ladies, I'm like, oh, why is he so small? Sheep Stealer's huge.
Yeah. Is Sheep Stealer like comparative sizing to like Vermithor? Like, is it similar? Is Sheep Stealer a similar size? Kind of a
Like
little bit smaller?
he is right after you have Vermithor, Cannibal, Sheep Stealer.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
All right.
up there, bigger than Cyrex, bigger
Yeah.
than Caraxes.
Yep.
maybe up there
Would
with
that be bigger than Dreamfire as well, or
around the same size, I would say. And
okay, around
Dreamfire,
the same
she's
size.
big.
Okay, cool.
She's pretty
She's
old.
big, yeah.
And even Rhaenyra says that she hatched
Rhaenyra says that.
Aegon's during Conquer time, which
Yeah.
it's true
Oh,
canonically.
she's
Yeah.
really grown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why Aemon's so desperate for her to to come with him.
And the audience to
Yeah.
see her and watch her be fucking dull. Oh, I'm sorry. This dragon is pale blue. Can you imagine that? Like beautiful pale, like baby blue. Like I don't know what they're
I
gonna.
mean,
I'm scared.
Sunfire was beige.
He was beige when he should have been
He was
small.
supposed to be golden.
Golden.
Like, oh.
And like these pink
to give
membranes,
us color.
wings. Like
Yeah.
I did Tessarian. We had Tessarian sighting at the end when the Hightower armies are marching from Old Town. We see Tessarian. He was in the trailer as well, which the trailer is this part that you get of Tessarian. That's it.
Wait, but who's Tessarian? Wait, who is that?
Tessarian belongs to Theron. He is Alicent's youngest son.
Yeah.
Oh shit! But we don't.
He's coming with
we
the
see him like in
Hightowers.
the. But is he right?
Oh,
Is
the
he
Hightower army.
He's flying above the army. You don't see the actor or
oh
Theron.
shit! I gotta go see that again. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
And
it's like a quick scene towards the end. Yeah.
Oh,
the trailer and the scene that you get in the show is identical. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit longer. But like from what I saw, she looked blue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Or are my eyes deceiving me?
No, you're right. I remember her being blue as well.
Okay, good.
And I went back to take another look to make sure that I could that I saw it right. Not like the most brightest, not super bright. Like they do dull down all of the colors.
They do dull,
but
pretty much all of them.
They do, unfortunately. I wish they would just lean into it a little bit more. But there is blue there, so hopefully Dreamfire.
Well, Caraxes, for example. Do you know why they call him Bloodworm?
Make it realistic.
Because he's red. He's not like burgundy and gray. Like, he is red. That's why he's the blood worm. Yeah. So they obviously toned down everybody, but Rhaenyra's dragon, Cyrax, she's pretty accurate. Sea Smoke, very accurate. Silverwing.
Caraxes is pretty red when he's out in the sunlight, but sometimes when it's
it looks dull. It looks pretty dull. Yeah. But excited. So we saw Sheepstealer briefly. We saw Tessarian briefly. So 2 new dragons we saw, and Dreamfire mentioned. We didn't see her, but we got to mention. So dragons are stacking up.
Yeah.
Next season we're getting full dragons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot this season too, but
I can't wait, but I also don't want to, because I already know that just means that some of them are gonna fucking die. But I want to see them though.
It's like you're watching House of the Dragon. You know the outcome in Game of Thrones. You know that there's no dragons for a century in Game of Thrones. They've been extinct. So that's the knowledge that you are watching. It's one thing is knowing. A whole different thing is watching them die. Like Amelie, for example,
like Rhaenys.
Especially with that. With that vision that Daemon had. I was like, oh, I get it. Yes, no dragons. Damn it, you have to remind me.
Yes, you don't have to keep telling me. I'm going to lose all of them.
They're going to die. They're going to die. Not all of them. No spoilers, but there's some silver lining.
I remember that talk. I think so.
It was right into the dragon seeds, and Ulf being so disrespectful. Who raised you?
Yes.
And the way he was digging at Jace regarding his bastardy is oh, look at your dark hair.
Hair.
I was like, oh my God. We're the same. We're not. My mother is the Targaryen queen. What are you talking about?
Hello, you not see who my mother is? What are you talking about?
Crazy.
I don't know what color my hair is.
I don't know how his mouth in a tavern.
I don't know how Jason have his tongue right then and there.
I was gonna say I
expected that Jace was a bastard. You lose your tongue for that shit.
Yeah. Maybe there should be more consequences.
Maybe if Rhaenyra heard it, she would have been remove his tongue. But then again, we're gonna have GQ magazine posting stupid shit online that she's a whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
She also
yeah.
needs him to be able to give commands to Silverwing, unfortunately.
Silverwing claiming Ulf is still a mystery I will never solve.
Oh my god!
I get you, Hammer.
Listen, she was like, "This is the first human I have seen in ages.
In a long time.
He smells like my baby's, because he steps in the egg,
And
in her little egg clutch." And she's like, "Oh, he must be friendly, one of mine. I will claim him." That's
This is how I imagine. Like she's just like, oh no, my dragon husband got a rider. Now I have to find one.
yeah.
Okay, you look friendly. You'll do.
Seriously, you look rider shaped. I will take you.
He was so cute though. The way she was just like kind of snubbing at him. Why are you so adorable?
Like a cat.
Yes.
She's so cute. She deserves so much better. Somebody kill him and give her another rider.
I can't wait till it falls off or something, and then somebody just comes back. Somebody else
please, just don't tie him properly to his saddle. What I will never understand is how Rhaena wasn't able to claim Silverwing. I don't know whether she tried, but from what I understand is she's the most like docile of the dragons. I know that doesn't mean she's harmless, obviously, but she's like the most docile of the dragons. I don't know whether Rhaena tried to claim her and it didn't work out, or whether she just never tried again once she had the bad experience. But those two together would have just been
a match made in heaven, honestly.
Right?
It's very curious. Like they've completely changed the character from the books. I can't give you any kind of answer on this. Like she's a totally different. Rhaena has a dragon in Fire and Blood, a little pink dragon that coils around her neck. She's pretty small, and her name is and she's pink dragon, and she coils around her neck, and her name is Morning. So different character.
So they just completely got rid of them.
Mm-hmm. Completely changed. So was
that like the egg? Like was that the egg that Rhaena had in season 1? No? Okay.
I don't think so, no. I'll have to go back.
So Morning was just a completely different dragon.
I think Morning is excluded completely. They're not even doing that storyline. So I think they're giving her, as a lot of people you've seen in the discourse, character Nettles is cut. So they're combining Nettles and Rhaena. Unfortunately, that's what it is. I was hanging on till the last second but who knows? They remembered Dara in mid-season 2. So I don't know. They could...
Maybe they'll see everybody screaming about Nettles, and they're like, "All right, we'll incorporate it somehow." Yeah. I mean, it has 5 seasons. There's still plenty of time for
them to remember it. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
And the dragon that Rhaena found is Grey Ghost, because there's 3 wild dragons: Cannibal, Grey Ghost, and Sheep Stealer. So,
she finds Grey Ghost. It's not Sheep Stealer.
Maybe.
Interesting. Oh, maybe. Okay. Oh, so you're saying like if they do bring Nettles back, they could make that change.
They could.
I see. Okay.
They have the option to be like, that's Grey Ghost, and bring in Sheep Stealer. And Sheep Stealer is huge. He's brown and big. Like the way they describe the way the Maesters describe Nettles, it's kind of cute. Like the little brown girl and a big brown dragon. Like she's got a crooked nose because she's kind of feisty. I think she's Daemon's daughter. I don't know. Like rumors is that she might be like his lover or his daughter, depending who you trust and who's the reliable source here. That's how she was supposedly able to claim Sheep Stealer through her Targaryen, through her Daemon being her father. But Sheep Stealer literally. So Sheep Stealer, she bonds with Sheep Stealer because she brought him food, literally sheep. That's the name Sheep Stealer. Like she fed him daily until Dragon is like, okay, let's go. Which is one of the most interesting parts of Fire and Blood, I would say, because it introduces an idea that non-Valyrian can claim a dragon. If she's non-Valyrian, Maester still call her a dragon seed. I think it's because Daemon had a lot of affairs. He's been with a lot of different people. Like he really doted on her, bought her jewelry, but also there's implications that they were too close, so they were probably lovers, or he was really doting on her because that's his daughter. So who do you what account do you believe? Kind of thing, yeah. So if they're combining Nettles and Rhaena, are they implying that Nettles is Daemon's daughter in the book? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because Rhaena is his daughter.
I see. It is his daughter. Interesting.
Damn, the
they have not.
cheeseman in
He
this
hasn't
book,
spoken
bro.
to. I know it. Oh, the rumor mill is crazy. That's why, like, when people like argue book like accuracy, like you're creating canon out of a unreliable historical text written 100 years post these events. Like,
And I guess there is a world where they could be like confusing Rhaena with like thinking that she is another woman, because people generally don't know what the upper class looks like because they never get too close. So if they just see like certain scenes or situations happening, they could be like, oh, that's maybe his daughter, that's maybe his lover, kind of thing. And if they are not seeing Rhaena often at all, then they could maybe be confusing them. I guess that's maybe what they're trying to do. I don't know.
But here's the problem with why I have a problem when they change something from Fire and Blood into House of the Dragon. You can change personalities. You can add lovers. You can add kids. You can do all of these different things. But when you change an existence of a person, like you're reading a history book and it's going to say, so-and-so was born, blah, 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 here, blah, blah, blah. These are the parents. These are the siblings, husband, wife, children. This is where they live, the house here. These are quantifiable, measurable, like numbers.
Yeah. Those are the facts.
I mean, it's the location. These are facts. Like, but you can't say, oh, he might have been sneaking around with a servant. They were a little too close. How do you know the nature of that? Like you saw them talking once in a kitchen. Somebody saw us, oh, they're a little too close. Whisper here, whisper here, whisper here, whisper here, and it ends up in a history book. You can't really, that's the kind of stuff that you can mess around in House of the Dragon. But like Alicent Hightower's age is a change. That's not a rumor. She was older than Rhaenyra by a lot, almost a decade. So
it wasn't even like a couple of years where they could play with. It's like a huge,
she was much older.
Time. Yeah, like hard to
literally. She was bullying a 9-year-old in Fire and Blood. So like that's a big change. Nettles existed. There's a
Nettles. Is she like anywhere close to like Rhaena's age at all, like in the book or anything like that, or just
16 or 17, something like that?
Okay, and Rhaena's a bit older than that, right?
They're about the same age.
Kind of
about the same age. Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we can just combine them, but yeah,
it's weird.
That's
cutting
weird.
Nettles.
It would have been
changed. You don't cut Nettles because Nettles existed. There's accounts and records of her existing.
Okay. Like it wasn't an easy thing to.
No,
it wouldn't have been something that they could confuse.
No, you can't. There's no way because Rhaena is a non-character in Fire and Blood. That's why, like, they're giving the actor a lot to do in House of the Dragon because Rhaena does nothing. She non-player, non-consequential. She kind of gets involved a little bit more in the post-war, like the court politics of it all. Oh, I just spoiled it. She survives. Great. Sorry, Monica. You can cut that out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So Rhaena, there you go. She doesn't die during dance. But again, they're changing so much.
Yeah.
They could just
I honestly would have rather they had like an actor play Rhaena that shows up in season 1 and then just like gets shipped off and we never see her again, and then introduce Nettles as like a completely
That's what I thought was going to happen. But they're really, really making Rhaena more of a real character, which I like.
Yeah,
Rhaena is a nothing
which is fine. Like you can build her up a little bit and have her. You can do both of them, and then if they really wanted, because the actor who plays Rhaena is incredible, they could have had the actor be they could have kept the actor for Nettles and then just hired somebody else to play like the smaller scenes, had Rhaena go with Rhaenyra's kids, and then introduce Nettles in like a big way in season 2. But
I understand trimming down characters and locations, and if I get it, trimming Nettles will never sit right with me.
Yeah,
that's one
especially
thing.
Like from what you're saying, it's a pretty big character that is important in the story. It's
and
not
favorite.
Just
and like, and it's an explicitly like it's a black character explicitly.
Yeah.
Her skin is described, her hair, her teeth, her nose. Like somebody saw her and she stood out to them and described her in great detail. Crooked teeth, broken nose, scars, foul-mouthed, dirty. Like she just grew up kind of like they're poor, they're bastards. You saw how they live.
Yeah. Oh, and now they're not even going to honor like her personality because she's Rey now.
It kind of sucks. So Nettles was a standout, which it is what it is. We're here. I'm not happy, but what are we gonna do with the show? I don't know.
I mean, at least they're including the Nettles storyline. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
We shall see.
We'll see. Hopefully, like I said, we have 3 more seasons, and they'll hear everybody screaming about it, like they did with Darien. So we'll get some type of
maybe Reyna doesn't succeed because they don't actually show her bonding. They just show her standing face to face.
No, but like,
right?
Yeah, but like JJ said, that could just be the other dragon. Maybe that's the other dragon. True. And then that's not really Sheep Stealer. Yeah. And then we see Sheep Stealer later with Thingy. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she meets Nettles with Sheep Stealer when she like comes face to face with Sheep Stealer. Maybe this is who it is. Like maybe that is the dragon and Nettles has already claimed him.
That could work, but the entire season they're pushing Reyna sort of her own insecurity over wanting a dragon.
That's having a dragon.
And they make you really root for her to get a dragon. The entire season I was like, I can't wait for her to get her dragon. As soon as like the dragon in Vale shows up, I was like, this is her dragon. She better get it. We better get the scene.
Now she's getting a dragon for sure, because like that they were emphasizing so much about her being down because she couldn't get a dragon. So that's like a big thing for her, and they're gonna give it to her.
If she gets if she bonds with Ghost, does that like mess up the storyline at all?
Not necessarily.
Okay, all right.
Maybe a little in another aspect. That's all I can say.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So now we get Corlys. Next, we get Corlys having a conversation with Rhaenyra. Corlys is basically telling her, like, dude, we need to get this going. Like, that's it. You got your dragons. That's what you wanted. All right. So there's no more excuses. No more, new setbacks. We got to get this going. Corlys just wants to get into the action already too. He's like, "Yo, let's just get this shit done with." Like,
you're wasting too much
waiting
time.
around. Yeah,
the Greens have made moves. Greens have made moves. They're taking over crown lands. Like they have armies. They have boots on the ground, and Rhaenyra's got nothing up until the last episode. So now you have an upper hand. Take advantage of it. Do it quickly. Don't extend this. A lot of people will die. Obviously, the war keeps on going. So do it quickly. And he's right. He's right.
Yeah. And then we get Corlys. We get emotional with Corlys renaming his ship to the Queen That Never Was. That was, dude, he really loved Rhaenys. Oh my God.
He did. I mean, he cheated on her, but he also really loved her.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I always try to say, like, do not expect loyalty out of the Westerosi noblemen. They will have bad girls because they go away a lot and they find comfort in other ways.
Especially Corlys going away.
And that's what this was,
so
right? It was a shipwright that he had an affair with and then had 2 sons with and then completely...
But Rhaenys apparently knew, so...
And
at least she knew. She knew. And then, Alan freaking putting him in his place...
Oh yeah,
that was freaking awesome with the clapback.
My God, I
absolutely loved it.
You didn't even take care of them like financially or like send them food or anything. Like I saw you with your kids wearing coats and everything. We were freezing to death and starving, and you didn't even try to help us out. Like
that. Like it's not that he just didn't try to help them out. He would then parade his family. Like his son, he's like, you would like bring your son into the market and buy all of these like lavish, extravagant things for you to dine on in front of me. Like, and he knew who he was. Like, he can't just be like, I didn't know who you were, like in the market. Like he knew what he was doing and that wasn't okay.
No, 100%. It's implied that he knew and he's like, totally like, you're dismissed. And Alan just keeps on going. Like Alan had time.
Loved it.
Alan had time. Best scene.
I loved it. I
But the
really
thing is
loved.
that, like, all right, you had the first child with her, right? You had a child that you did not want to take care of. Why are you going back to the same lady and giving another child that you're also not going to take care of? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck, bro?
Welcome to Westeros and rich
Mm-hmm.
noble
Hey,
man.
my man.
Like,
If your
but
name is
I
not Ned Stark, even that's questionable
Eh.
at this point. I'm just kidding. Trust me, these men are like dogs, all of them. All like one of my favorite characters in the Entire Song of Ice and Fire. Like, I always say, don't ship couples in A Song of Ice and Fire. Don't stand characters. They're all kind of bad. They all do questionable shit. Like, you will find out somebody that's really questionable, except for Davos Seaworth. But even Davos cheated on his wife. Even though he loves her, he loves Maria a lot. Like, he writes her letters, like these grand, beautiful letters, and he thinks about her all the time. He thinks about their kids, but he's still like, I found comfort. I kind of did a thing with somebody else.
I
these
mean,
men need to
even
take their
freaking,
wives with them on these trips. I'm
even
like,
old
I
dad,
wouldn't. Huh?
old dad that you said, but was it Balon?
Yes,
Oh,
Balon. Yeah.
that you
oh
told
yeah,
you. JJ always said, "Yo, he was obsessed with his wife. It was always about his wife." And then all of a sudden, he has a fucking asshole of a
Bastard.
kid.
Yeah, you're right.
oh my god, the
I
worst.
cannot believe that's all. That's
I still
Balon.
think he's talking shit, and it's just some other Targaryen.
I do
I
too.
cannot believe that. Yeah, I don't
I
think
do
so.
too. It's Sarah.
Yeah,
Sarah's.
it could be. It could because you were saying that like she had your video on
She was a
TikTok.
lady of the
You were
night.
saying that she had several bastards, so it could be that he's another one.
Correct. And we know of three only because the three tried to claim their crown during the Great Council where Rhaenys was passed over. Maybe she had more. She was like sexually active for a long time, and then till finally she became a full-fledged like prostitute and owned her own brothel. Like she was, so it's possible she had a ton of them, ton of kids. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I'm surprised that Ulf. I'm surprised Ulf wasn't like throwing in Rhaenyra's face, like, "Yo, I'm your uncle, right? Like, I'm your uncle."
That's true. He could have played that card. I wonder why he.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean,
I
he's
feel
probably
like
did, but with off screen. I'm just saying. I thought that would have
yeah,
added to that, like his assholeness.
yeah,
Like,
that's
oh,
true.
I mean, they're
Rhaenyra,
my
my
niece.
my niece, you know.
No, see, I think
I
at
would
that point
slap
Jace would
him.
have had his head.
Yes.
Jace would have just.
But you know what I find kind of funny? Like Aemon does it, Jace does it, and Rhaenyra does it. You've done something that's been never done before. First of all, how would a dragon, an animal, let's just any animal, a dog, a sheep, a cow, a pig, a wolf, would know your last name? Or if you own a house, what the fuck are they talking about?
They don't care. We just
you,
know this is a Targaryen, and
you,
that's it.
you have an old Valyrian bloodline in you. That's why probably a dragon liked you. Like, so they're like, oh, you've done something that's been never done before. Well, are you trying to tell me Vermithor knew that Ulf wasn't a Targaryen, but a white Ulf white? Like, you know what I mean? Or I mean, I'm sorry, Hugh Hammer. That's what's so funny to me. Like, these dragons don't know last names. What the fuck are these people talking about? I was like taken back.
I feel like the dragons. I mean, like I'm sure, like the blood magic obviously has a part to play in it, but that's not it either. Because if that's all that was required, Rhaena would have a dragon already, right? And
But that tells you right there. It comes down to the
yeah,
beast. Like,
exactly. It's like does
comes down to the
the
beast.
dragon vibe with this human? Yes or no?
That's literally it. That is literally it.
Yeah.
And again, like this, it's not unheard of that the dragons reject riders all the time. She got lucky that she didn't get Dracarys. Do you know what I mean? A bunch of dragon seeds died during the sowing. Even in the book, I think like 100 of them died. They tried. They wanted a
wow.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that part is accurate, except.
Well,
no,
yeah.
no, I can't say it. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, okay.
I almost did. I almost said something.
All right, and then now next we get into more misogyny with Sir Stefan.
Oh,
Alfred Brom. Stefan.
I
Alfred.
regret.
Why call him Stefan? Okay, yeah, Sir
No, yeah,
Alfred.
Sir Alfred.
Yeah, Sir Alfred Broom. Fucking asshole.
Yeah, he
Sorry,
to make
but
it a king, not a queen.
I regret
we need
the
a
like
man.
second.
We need a
Yeah.
man right now.
Rhaenyra is nice, but the kingdom needs a king. And Simon's
someone with
strong.
balls.
He's just being such a.
Because
he's just
Viserys was such a ooh, a man, right?
right,
Like,
right. He was a peacetime king. So was Jaehaerys. Like, what is Alfred talking about?
Exactly.
Hello,
No,
sir.
exactly.
Like,
And
what
she
are we
said
doing?
that she says that to his face at one point too, like that you
Yes!
have just as much like experience with combat that I do.
Correct, because there was no war. There hasn't been a war since
None.
conquest.
None.
So pushing
She
100
burned
years.
him so good, and he was like, "Let
Yeah.
me just go."
Like, how do you know
Let
about
me
war?
just
You
go
were
talk to
born
him.
during peacetime, during two
Yeah.
peaceful
No
reigns.
shit,
What the fuck are you talking about? Hilarious.
He
You
didn't
just
like.
read
He
about
didn't
it.
like.
That's it.
Yeah, he's mad that Rhaenyra put him in his place.
Mhm. And he's like trying to
Oh, he definitely did.
play up like and get Daemon to essentially commit treachery and treason. Like Simon
And
caught
Daemon
it.
calls him out for it. I'm surprised he didn't
Yeah,
have
he's
his
like,
head for
"Oh."
it right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly. But I think he had
Because
like
I
bigger
think
things
Damon
to
is
worry
just in
about.
a different. Yeah, Damon is in a different mind frame now. It's
He
not
is.
just react. He doesn't just react
Yeah.
anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
I assume, later on when it comes up again, he's probably going to say something to Rhaenyra about Sir Alfred not being trustworthy. But he's not just taking decisions, himself without having, the approval of the queen.
Yeah. I think he was like hoping that Daemon would like take up his own cause, but obviously that did
Yeah.
not
Oh
happen.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
Daemon has been like teetering like on what he wants to do the entire
Yeah.
season up until Division, which
Yeah,
obviously
until
changes
Division, yeah.
everything.
Well, up until the division in the last episode with Viserys handing him the crown and he doesn't take it, I think that's when he finally was like, no, I don't want to do this.
He didn't take
Or I
it, but
don't want this.
he didn't say that he doesn't want it either. So
That's true. That's
the scene
true.
sort of cuts off.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
that's
for the
true.
viewer, for us, it's like still unclear where his desire is. So this episode to me, it implies that again he finally realized this is much bigger than either him or Rhaenyra. Like
Rhaenyra, yeah.
stakes. So that's why I think he finally like snapped out of his whatever insecurity
Yeah.
or demons that were haunting him. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also well, maybe we can get into this later for Division. I was going to say something really.
Then we get Helena and Allison again. Allison is finally back in the she's out of her little, retreat. She's back from her little retreat in the fucking woods. But basically Helena and Allison just wants to leave, and Helena wants to she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. And Aemon comes in like, my dude, I need you to go and get on this dragon, and we need to go burn shit. Plain and simple. Allison was not having it.
No, Helena was not having it.
Allison even brought up the sharp point, like his reaction towards in that, like the actions towards that town, like you're not well here, like the way you're reacting, the way you're acting, like it's crazy.
And she kind of already has suspicions about what happened with Aegon. Like that's, I think, when she really started.
Oh yeah. No, she knew. Like the moment she saw Catspaw, the dagger on his belt,
that's true.
She knew that he had something to do with it. The way that he had something to do with that up in the sky. Very hard to prove, but.
And Aemon just talking down again to Allison, basically reducing her to you're a woman type of thing, again misogyny with Allison or whatever. But Allison knows that
I think
Aemon, she has no control.
That, though. I do think it's more than that, though, because in one of the scenes, Aemon says, "Our mother's not a dragon rider; she will never understand." I think Aemon in general does not have a connection to his family in any normal way. Even when he's talking to Helena the second time, he approaches her calmly with and then he tries to touch her arm. He can't even touch her arm. The way, the entire family even trying to kill his brother. Hello, calls his mother Alicent in one scene with Chris and Cole, and then Cole towards Helena. He tries to be nice to her, but you could tell his arm is here, and he pushes it back. He just has a very strange relationship with his entire family. So I do think that he doesn't doesn't have a connection towards Alicent, not only because she was a bad mom his entire life, because she's also not a Targaryen or a dragon rider, which he takes very seriously. He's like, we need to punish that these non-nobles are tarnishing Targaryen tradition. I think he says that. I might have wrote that somewhere, but let me see. Maybe
I think he said something around like it's like a sin or like a sin against our name or something like that. I don't know the exact phrase.
Right.
I didn't write it down.
And it's so funny. Like he's having an exact same reaction as Jace, but for two different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. You had also at one point mentioned that Aemond is kind of like Daemon a little bit, where like not similar in terms of motivation, but like there is that sort of idea of like family, like Targaryen family and dynasty is really like important. But obviously Aemon takes it to like a crazy extreme, and he's like very narrow-minded with the way that he thinks about it.
It's not even just like the family, it's their culture, it's their heritage, their language, the artifacts, the painting, the everything, because a lot of it disappeared. Targaryens don't have a lot to go with anyways, because a lot of it burned during like the Doom of Valyria. So whatever they have is that they're trying to preserve it as much as they can. Like Daemon and Rhaenyra, they get married in a Valyrian style. I think if Aemon was to ever get married to somebody, he would do the same thing, like just to preserve that culture that's dead, and they're the only ones keeping it alive, especially in terms of the dragons. So that's how they're similar. Like if you remember in season 1, like when Daemon and Rhaenyra visit Red Keep, like Alicent took out all Targaryen heraldry and put out the 7-pointed star everywhere. So he's like, "Oh, you took out all my family's imagery, essentially." So like that's how they're similar in that way, like just the preservation of culture, essentially. And their family has all these different things, and they want to preserve it.
Yeah, and that's what he's most mad about. It's not so much that like Rhaenyra has more dragons now. It's that like it's non-Targaryens, bastards who are now riding these dragons, which is interesting.
Again, they have Targaryen
that's what he's
blood.
really mad at. Yeah, exactly. And exactly. And it's like they do have Targaryen blood. They're not noble, but they still have Targaryen blood. But yeah, there's like the classism as well as the,
lots of it,
racism. Like both coming up there. One thing I also wanted to say with Aemond and Alicent is I think he does actually like hold resentment for her for letting things get to this point, because she could have, while she was like ruling on behalf of Viserys, or because she was Viserys's wife, he maybe thinks that she could have like put an end to all of this had he publicly like changed his declaration or something, and she could have maybe influenced that or something. But he does say something. I didn't write down the line, but he's like kind of alluding to the fact that it's like we're in this mess because of you, kind of thing, which is unfair. It's
very unfair.
But she also had a hand to play in it. But I think he does like lay a lot more of the blame on her than maybe she deserves.
Yeah. No, and like you said, it's just that resentment of, I think, a lot of the taking out all of the Targaryen stuff, which I thought, why would you let your mother do that when the house is Targaryen, period? You know?
That's what's so confusing to me with her kids.
Targaryen. Yeah. Like, this is a Targaryen reign. I'm a Targaryen. This is not a Hightower thing. You as my mother as a Hightower, that means nothing to me. It means nothing to the throne, to the crown.
So,
so
a lot of like Targaryens, as far as like the religion, they really don't have like a specific religion. There's no specific god that they worship or anything like that. A lot of them have indoctrinated into the seven. Like Queen Alysanne, and she talks about the mother above. One of the 7-pointed stars is the image of a mother. Like she praised the mother a lot. So it implies that she really got indoctrinated into the faith. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Targaryens don't accept seven. Like you have Baelor the Blessed, who was an extreme zealot, Faith of the Seven zealot. He was a Targaryen. So it's possible for even Alicent's kids to be indoctrinated into the seven and even like have seven anointed star everywhere. And maybe that's why they allowed for their heraldry to be taken down. I'm not sure, but it's not unheard of.
Oh, it's not on her, because I guess I was thinking of it as like Viserys kind of at that point in his life wasn't really like, she was doing a lot of the ruling in his stead, so she was kind of, she was able to make that decision, and Viserys didn't oppose it because he wasn't in any state to really care about that stuff. And because
none of the kids brought it up because they didn't care,
and none of the and as acting Queen Regent, she was able to
kind of do what she wanted.
Yeah. So next we get to Mr. Crispy Ho and Dr. Gwen.
We missed him, or not missed him. We got a break from him last episode.
I
got to the end. I got to the end of the episode, and then it took me a while to like realize. I was like, oh, there was no Crispy, but he was back in full force. Prolonged scene.
It was
but they actually gave him a little bit of a personality this fucking episode. Like a little bit of brains.
Yeah,
actually thinking.
Yeah, with the Queen's brother
dissing Rhaenyra.
Gwen freaking, he's over here like my little, Allison freaking
a handkerchief,
handkerchief. And Gwen's like,
he sees her give him.
He did see it, and I think that's why
he did see her give it to him.
So Gwen's like, yo, you really doing that in front of me? Like, you know what, this shit? You fuck my sister. You need to go somewhere. He's like, you need to go get punished, my dude.
He's like, it's one thing. It's one thing that you guys are going behind my back and doing. It's another thing to pull her handkerchief out in front of me.
In front of me and everybody else. Like, my dude.
I'm going to give him embarrassing.
And he calls her out in front of everyone.
He didn't know it was there. I'm going to give him benefit of that. I think he was just having a moment and probably thinking about Alice and didn't realize.
No, of course. I'm just like being silly about Gwen. No, I'm just silly, but Gwen saw that. He's like, yo, my dude, why are you pulling that out right now?
Because of all the time that they spent together and all the things that he's seen between Alicent and Crispy, he never said a thing. But now that he's like sitting there looking, or I guess sniffing her handkerchief, that's when he
Gwen
calls him out on it.
2 episodes ago, though. This isn't
he knows. No, he's known.
Yeah. This just sort of like when he saw it, it confirmed what he thought he saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But it was a great scene. I know people hate Kristen Cole, I did too, but Fabian Frankel
this was
a fabulous job.
The conversation.
One of my favorite dialogues, like in the entire episode, with 2 of them talk.
Yeah.
What did she say? What did he say to her? Like, she saved my life twice. She's the beacon that I follow.
I was like,
Crispy waxing poetic about a woman. I never thought I'd see the day.
No, but then he says that those were they're the ones that got him like grief, like women, the one that gave him the most grief.
Desire for women.
Desire for women.
Yes,
and he doesn't insult Rhaenyra for once.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about her, but calling Allison.
But he says women. There's only been 2 women that we've seen him like go after.
He's talking about Rhaenyra too.
It's Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
and for some reason that made me think back because he was the one that was with Rhaenyra when the White Elk came, like the White.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I was like, why do we? He shared such a freaking special moment with Rhaenyra. Like, why do we get that to him? Just like completely hidden. I was like, damn, man.
Yeah.
Like, Crispy, you could have been.
He really.
She said no.
No, I know, but I'm just
exactly.
Like,
but
dude,
I love that scene. They talk about the honor. They talk about what he said. All men are corrupt. Honor is nothing but a mist. Which I thought was a great line. He's like, now
and like, basically, why does it matter with this war? He says, what is it that he says? The dragons dance, and men like dust, and men are like dust under their feet. What's the point? Like, what's the fucking point?
Like, you want to punish, like this is like me being with your sisters. Doesn't really matter. We are all marching towards our annihilation.
Yeah, and he's looking forward to it too. Like, he's looking forward to.
Is he though?
Ending it all. Well, he does say, I didn't write down the line, but he does say something along the lines of like, maybe that'll be like a relief or something.
Oh yeah.
He says something about
Yeah. As far as like, that is going to be welcomed with how bad this is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he got really shaken up at Rick's Rest, and he hasn't been able to recover from it.
That changed
what he witnessed. Everything.
That's fear. that fear just like 160 even with Allison. That does how big the fear was that you even like just did a 180 with Allison. So that was pretty big.
Yeah.
That was pretty big.
Never thought I'd see the day with Crispy.
Yeah.
It was a great scene.
Actually being intelligent. But it was just a brilliant scene.
Going through an existential crisis. Like once you see her from Dragonfire, it changes your life. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah.
Anybody, I see some shit like that. It's like, yo, that's it. You know what? I need to go pray to whatever. Because what the fuck is going on? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then now we get...
I think
we get to Jace.
Covered most of it except for Baela and Jace scene. Yeah.
Baela and Jace. Yeah.
We had to get the Jace pouting face because he had to show a serving face.
And even Baela says, "Why are you here pouting?
Why are you pouting?" But they just had to show it and focus on his face as a serve face. Here you go.
Harry Collette.
Here you go. You thirsties. You thirsties.
I can't even do it.
He's just like
serving face.
Yeah, but they really stayed out there for like good 10 seconds, just like showing.
Oh yeah. Listen. When you have
memes are gonna be
Henry. Like when you have Henry Collette giving you that face, the cameraman just can't tear the camera away. Like
camera loves that face. Loves that face.
I love that Baela came.
He's been reasonable per usual. Like, what are you doing, pouty? What are you doing, sulking? Like, go support your mother. We're in war. What are you doing? What the? Like, get up. Stop being stop brooding, essentially.
Yeah.
So she was definitely the queen that needed to be right there, you know. And she's amazing. I love her so much. She's like so level-headed, so on point.
Someone has to be. My goodness.
Yeah. And she understands Jace really well and knows like what she needed to say and how she needed to say it in order to like push him forward. Like basically being like stop this pity party. This is like you're better than that. There's other stuff that you need to do. And she says like go prove it to them. Like if you think that they're all looking down on you, like go prove to them that you belong here.
Correct.
Don't just like hide away in your books and leave your mother.
And one of my favorite lines is like, do you think you're the only noble kid that's not been sired by his noble lord father? What was I saying earlier? These men are dogs, all of them.
Hello.
Yep.
Oh my God. And it's true. In universe, it's true. They all like, Robert Baratheon has like 17 bastards. Probably more.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Dude.
That's why when anybody talks about Rhaenyra's kids being bastards being like this huge issue, and it's like, no, it's not supposed. Like this isn't the first time this has happened. This is something that happens all the time. They're just making a big deal of it because she's a woman. It's an excuse. It's an excuse because had she had her kids from Laenor, or had she married Daemon and had kids with him only, still would not have accepted her as queen. It does not matter. She could have done everything right. She could have done
some other issue that they came up with. So.
Exactly.
I am going to
proof.
I'm going to quote Otto Hightower. She could have been Jaehaerys the second coming. It does not matter. It does not matter.
Otto said it. Otto said it.
He does. Yeah. And we see a brief shot of Otto being in prison, by the way.
That's crazy. I was like, wait, is that a jail? Why is he in jail?
I'm wondering if this is Larys's work. I don't know.
I don't know.
When he leaves, we hear nothing about him until Aemond tells Larys to bring him back, but Larys doesn't want him back. I don't know, but they leave it a mystery. There's probably a bunch of different.
I miss Otto, so hopefully he'll be back soon. I mean, this is.
I was expecting him back when Aemond asked for him back.
Called for him, and I'm surprised that Aemond didn't follow up. But where's my grandfather?
But he was also missing for a while. Yeah,
you're right, Sue.
He was missing for a while because Alice.
Larys has something to do with it because Aemon wanted Otto back. So
yeah,
you're right. I totally clocked that out of my head. I forgot.
Yeah. He also Alicent had also said that
or something.
maybe, but also like he wasn't sending back any messages to Alicent. But
Oh,
Gwen
right.
wasn't like worried about that.
Mm.
But I forget whether that scene came before Aemond asked for him or not. I'm gonna have to go back and check. But like, if anybody has anything to do with this and is like doing this on purpose, I feel like Larys would be the one to like have the means and the motive.
Because that's the only way he was able to get in good graces with Aegon. Because if I would have been there, I wouldn't have, none of that would have happened.
Correct.
Yeah.
None of that would
Correct.
have happened. Yeah. All right, so we get real quick. Let's just real quick. I just want to talk about the dinner that they were all having, the dragon seeds with
The dragon seed dinner,
yeah.
I just want to point out Rhaenyra's freaking dress with the 2 dragon heads on the.
I want it.
My dude.
I want the dragons
right here.
So good. Yep.
She's wearing the crown.
She's in the crown finally. Like the entire season, I'm like, where is her crown? Where is her crown? I was expecting her to wear it when she like goes to meet all of the dragon seeds, and like finally we see her wearing it.
Yeah, she should have been wearing it in that scene. You're right.
She should have.
Right.
Definitely should have. Yeah. But oh my god, that dress, and then Ulf just being again. I'm glad that he got called out. Motherfucker still was being all freaking arrogant and so.
Silverwing and I are not afraid of anything.
Well, I hope you fall off of that dragon and they find somebody.
You'll be falling off too, motherfucker.
Real.
I hope Jace accidentally bumps him off of Silverwing, just during training.
I like it. At least Adam was clapping. Yeah. Adam clapped back though. I was like,
I wrote it down. He's like, there will be time enough to see which one of us is a coward. I loved it. Adam, he has such class.
I'm so glad you wrote that because I remember you said something. I forgot to. I was so excited over it. I didn't write it down. That's what he said.
That was so good.
Yeah, no, I loved it.
Well, you love
And then you know what? Simon is a real one. Sir Simon, real one.
He can dress. He can notice things. He knows how to write letters when necessary. Rhaenyra, your husband is acting out.
Come get your man. Come get your man.
Get your man. Your husband's been a weirdo. Get him now. And
He's like, yo, there's some weird shit. Your boy from your council's over here talking some crazy shit.
You're talking crazy.
I don't know. Just get your ass over here, bro.
Yep.
No, I love that man. Oh my god, he's so cool.
He's
amazing
and and intelligence. He can read
everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
in this house, we stand Simon Strong.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep. I love him. And so we see Rhaenyra's like, okay, we out. Adam, you coming with me.
I love that she took Adam.
I loved it.
Love it.
I love that she took Adam with her.
Me too.
Experience.
I love that we got to see smoke. Yeah, and then and she could have taken Bela. She could have taken Jace.
I think she wanted
Adam and
the dragon seeds. Right.
She could have taken Hugh with Vermithor, who's a lot bigger. But I feel like she already knows that Adam is going to be
especially from the beach scene. Correct.
We talked about he's going to be the one that she can trust, and he's going to be the one that she can actually rely on.
And the way they was talking to Ulf regarding the cowardly and the braveness of it all, that she notices all of these things at the beach. And she's like, and obviously they're trying to get them more trained or kind of familiarized with what's going on. So the fact that she didn't choose Hugh, like you said, he's got bigger dragon, vicious dragon.
Yeah,
it was Adam. Loved it.
Yeah, and Hugh also hasn't been running his mouth the same as Ulf. He has more of the he's more
the decorum,
but it's
the decorum
and But Adam's got this other I don't know if you guys saw, but the actor who plays Adam posted a photo of him as Adam, and then with the caption "loyal."
Oh,
what more do you need? I loved it.
He's riding for Rhaenyra. He's riding for her. I love that. Yeah. I love it. And so, and I love that they get there, and it's just a cool scene. I love that they keep us giving these cool scenes, dude. Okay, so
get into the vision now.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. The star of the show, I think, is this freaking sequence. Oh my God. The sequence.
People are going
Okay.
to fucking lose it.
I cannot wait. And I'm telling
I
you,
am so excited.
Daemon haters are gonna be hating so
I can't
much.
say a damn
Listen, I'm
thing.
here for it. I'm sorry for Team Green, whoever's watching this. That's team. I hate.
You're
I don't
cooked.
care. Damon is the man. I love Damon.
Yes.
I love him. Amazing. Okay, no, but
I've been talking shit
no,
on
no, no,
Sarah
no, no.
Hess, but she
Oh
delivered.
yeah.
She
Oh
delivered,
yeah.
man.
She delivered.
Ooh.
All right. All right. She redeemed a little bit herself from all that crap that she was talking before. First thing first, who the hell is Ant-Man? Antler Man. No,
What
seriously.
is that?
So I saw him, I was like, wait, who the fuck is that?
Me too.
Well,
I wanted to
first of all,
message you, but you hadn't seen it yet.
yeah, right. Knowing that you guys have seen it, I'm like going through motions. It was too funny, by the way. So Damon wakes up with Alice looking over him and like, do you not ever sleep? Was she crying?
I saw tears like in her eyes. I actually wrote that down.
Oh, I'll have to
I
read
didn't know
that.
if it was significant, but I was like, why is she crying?
That's probably, if she's crying, she probably saw something, and that's what pushed, like, to speed up the process to get Daemon. Like, it's time for you to
Oh,
see.
to see
Maybe
this.
Brendan made her see something to finally push her. Or
Correct.
something.
Correct.
Mm.
And then they go right in outside in front of the weirwood tree, and then we see the Ant-Man, Antler Man.
Antler Man. Antler Man.
Yeah.
So
I said I meant to.
that was not a vision, right? That was somebody showed up.
No.
Like,
No, no,
we've
no.
not seen that.
Yeah.
They both saw that shit, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys know what a God's Eye is? You heard God's Eye being mentioned a lot.
The island.
The place? The island?
God's Eye is a lake.
Right.
Oh, the lake.
Isn't that where Harrenhal is?
It's right next to it on the
right next to it.
west
Okay,
side,
all right.
west side of God's
Okay,
Eye.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Harrenhal, God's Eye Lake, they were like right next to each other, right? So right in the middle of God's Eye, there's a little tiny island called the Isle of Faces. It's very mysterious. And it's the only place pretty much south of the, like in the south, where has the weirwood trees were not cut down by the Andals and by Harren the Whore, the one that built Harrenhal. Because he was cutting down those trees. Apparently he left one of them outside of Harrenhal. But he was cutting down the weirwoods to build a castle. Isle of Faces is pretty much the only place left where there's weirwoods. And these weirwoods are sort of protected by this order of the Green Men. And they literally have antlers and green skin. So, the way that came about, and it's going to play into what we're going to talk about next. So, during the long night, the original one, when the world was swept in like apocalypse and darkness, children of the forest and the first men who were warring for a while for land, for resources, because first men came in, they were annihilating the children, cutting down their trees. The long night, and the others come in and they start killing everybody. So it's like, we can't do this. Like, we have a bigger enemy. We gotta work together to help each other out. So they make a pact of peace on this island called Isle of Faces. And these faces were like literally carved into the weirwood so they could be witnesses. Because remember, trees remember. It's like a network of memories of past, present, and future. So now, how these green men came to be, we don't know. But the fact now, the House of the Dragon confirmed it, and I'm very curious what involvement George R. Martin has in this season. Did he sign off on this? Did Sarah Hess just brought this in because she knows about it? Being it's Harrenhal, Isle of Faces, the God's Eye, all of that. So sorry. So that's what that was. Sort of like the others, Children of the Forest, the first men, coming together to fight the larger threat. Putting aside their squabbles and all of the stuff they were doing together for the greater good. So that's what that was, the Antler Men, the Order of the Green Men on the Isle of Faces in the middle of the God's Eye. This little island. The
So maybe
it's very cool.
So he would be protecting the weirwood, at Harrenhal.
Mm-hmm. No
one
one
was like involved. No.
I don't know why that character,
Okay.
like why that he showed up there.
Okay.
Did he swim? Did he like trans? I don't know. Nobody has ever seen these green men. We're not even sure they exist. It's just these tales that are told.
So, I see. So this is just confirmation that they exist.
If House of the Dragon is like, if George R. R. Martin like put this in, include it in, like he's essentially confirming the green men are real. Like it's because a lot of Westerosi and like in real world, they don't believe in like magic and tales. Like they don't, like Ned Stark doesn't even believe in the others. He calls it old wives' tales. Like Ned Stark, like
interesting.
because everything happened such a long time ago. It's like in our real world, when you think about ghosts and aliens, and think of like a crazy story your grandma told you, like, of something. Like those are just tales that are told
fairy
generation fairy tales, correct?
Yeah.
That's how Westerosi treat them. So like the antler man, like a typical fairy tale monster type of thing.
Yeah.
But apparently it's real.
Interesting.
It's almost like it's signaling like all this shit that's happening, this war between the families, like none of this matters because a greater threat is coming. And our order has been a witness to it, and it's a cycle that keeps repeating itself. Men just like killing each other when there's like a larger threat
that
looming above
everybody.
So I think that's what that was for.
And so the God's Eye Island, is that not a place that...
No, God's Eye is a lake.
Go to?
That's the name of the lake.
Sorry, the island in the middle of God's Eye.
Isle of Faces, correct.
Isle of Faces, sorry. So people don't usually go there.
So I may have a...
Like that's not a place that somebody would like go to on purpose.
No.
Okay.
So you see the tree right there?
Yep.
So that's Lyanna Stark in the current saga. It's a lot of people speculate that this here, right here, with I think you can see Rhaegar right here, lurking. The two of them ended up on the Isle of Faces. It's like nobody goes there because it's creepy. You hear stories about creepy places. If they go there, like they disappear, but you don't hear stories of people just randomly going to the Isle of Faces. It's just one of those, it's haunted, or it's the green man will get you. Think of it that way.
Oh, okay. So they use the green man as like a thing to like scare people.
It's a boogeyman that it's a tale that exists. So they don't say, "Oh, green man will get you." Like there's a legend that there's something on that isle that's freaky.
Because like the little guy that we see looks like cutesy.
Well, I don't think he's cute.
He also doesn't look like full human sized, or maybe that was just the
perception,
like, the perspective. Maybe that was okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just like kind of like, to me, it was more of like a like how like in typical like fantasy stories, a lot of times you'll have like a fantasy character that just sort of like you get a glimpse of, and then the kids will be like, "What is that?" And then they'll like go follow, and then they're like opened into like this big world of fantasy. That's what it felt like to me. It was just like this whimsical little creature.
It's possible.
Kind of like
children themselves that have doe-like features.
Okay.
So what that like were the men and the children like?
Oh, and
I don't
that's
know.
How maybe they came about.
I don't know. Because again, if it's got antlers and children are small, they're not children. They're literally grown people, but they're small. They're like kids.
Yeah.
So, but they have doe-like features, like cat eyes and like doe skin with these white dots. Think of like a deer.
Okay.
So they're spotted like this. They have like nut brown skin and these dots and like these like literally like little doe ears and claws. Claws and cat eyes.
It did look like he had like did not have human hands as well. Maybe that was just like I didn't see him very clearly. But
I'll have to
the episode. I thought that's what I thought that it wasn't human hands either.
It's possible. I have to like look at it and like really pause it and like high definition.
Pause it and like put the
in a slow mo or something.
That was really cool.
That was cool.
So we see that, and then so that's where it starts. Now that's just like a precursor of what we're gonna get now with Daemon and Alice and the weirwood tree.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the tree actually bleeding,
Yeah.
which is like
Very cool.
so cool. Very cool. And then Alice is like, all right, my dude, you gotta go look at this shit because some crazy shit, it's some crazy shit about to go down in the future. So you need to be like prepared, look at this shit. And we get the freaking third eye raven. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know the name because I don't know, obviously the character. I just know who that is because, Game of Thrones. But I knew JJ was like, oh my God!
This is my favorite character in the Song of Ice and Fire. He doesn't even have a point of view, and he's my favorite character here. And just, oh my God. By the way, before I say anything else, a fun fact, the weirwood tree, the face was carved after George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here!
That was so cool. Yeah.
So cool.
There was like a behind the scenes photo that they released.
Oh, that's so cute.
The Daemon puts his hand on the tree, and Alice does her magic or whatever, and he's literally tapped into its network to see past, present, and future. Mostly future. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the tree, like, it looked really gross, right? Like when he was like bleeding, like
because it looked moist and like
it looked like dead flesh for a second there.
Yes,
and then I was like, wait, that's the tree roots.
It's the tree roots, correct? And then he zooms in on a man sitting in the like a tree throne, and then it's Brendan, the blood raven, the three-eyed raven, which
and he's intertwined in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, symbolically, I thought was, like, really cool.
Eventually, like, I'll show you the artwork of what happens to him, like, way later. He literally becomes a tree, part of it, like, completely.
Oh, okay, so that's kind of...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So it's, like, more literal than just a metaphor of him being connected to the weirwoods. And
girl,
it's like he actually does. Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy.
He literally is slowly like dying essentially. Like he doesn't have a life that's forever, like his own like being. So he's literally becoming one with the tree. And we see young version of Brendan Rivers, which it makes sense. Just kind of curious now, like he has a birthmark. That was a big one. And then the three-eyed raven just kind of pops up.
What is the birthmark in the shape of the raven? Because it almost looks like the raven sort of. Okay, so that's okay. Because it looks like it sort of came out of
That's why his nickname is Blood Raven.
Blood, because it's got like the red
shape of a raven. So
cool.
fun fact. Brendan Rivers' mother, Melissa Blackwood. Look up their sigil. It's a weirwood tree with ravens.
Oh, get out of here. That's so cool.
Oh,
man.
Pretty cool, right?
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And he's a Blackwood, so yeah. He's
Blackwood. And we are very connected to the old gods and to the trees, to the weirwoods. So that's why when we were texting him, like the Blackwood part is very important because he takes upon himself to like literally become the Green Seer, this entity that can like see past, present, and future. And one of the things that's super important, and George R. R. Martin stresses that in the Dance with Dragons, when we meet Brendan for the first time, like you cannot change what happens. You can kind of see it, but whatever you see in the past, like you cannot like change it. So it should help serve you for the future, but you can't change the past. So that's kind of a big deal.
But he can still influence the future. Like if he sees a future, he can't, or not really either.
Well, technically, yes. Well, in grand scheme of things, like I mean, who knows what Daemon would have done or how he would have been? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a butterfly effect. So you show me something,
right?
Like that's that burden of knowledge, like that. But you see that with a lot of characters, even in other stories, like. I don't know, like Dune, for example, Paul Atreides, the premonition that he has, he sees future and he sees only. Have you guys seen Attack on Titan yet? No. Okay,
No, but go ahead. I don't mind. Oh, okay.
it's characters knowing the outcome, and however they like go about their life, something happens that's in that future. Like, oh, it will happen. Nothing I do changes it. So you kind of like, it's a very like Dune does a really good job with this. Like especially with Paul, like seeing like the future, like what the world will be. So with Brendan, like he does influence a lot of this stuff. He can't really communicate to the characters what to do or tell them or explain it in any way, in any sort of like way that makes sense. Like, you know how Helena does riddles? That's sort of the gist of it. Like, for example, I think that he sent ghosts to Jon Snow because he'll need ghosts at some point when the Grey War comes. So, um, but I'm diverging way too.
No, no, that's okay.
I'm so
All
sorry.
right,
No,
so
this is awesome.
I have a question. Does this happen in the book? This whole Daemon scene?
I have
Okay.
one thing that I also wanted to say, and I think this may be related to Brendan here as well. Alice, before she gets Daemon to touch the tree, she says, "Do you wish to learn what is given to you?" And so I wonder if maybe that's like kind of like Brandon sort of like giving him this vision to like help him understand what's at stake in order to maybe like not change his behavior, but to like kind of influence him in that way without actually like doing something himself.
I'm sorry. Ask that again. What's the question?
So Alice says, "Do you wish to learn what is given to you?" And I thought that wording was like interesting because it's like something like there's something that has been given to him that he has to like choose to accept. And so I wonder if that's what the vision is. And it's like Brendan being like, okay, like if he gives him these visions, then it'll help Daemon fulfill what he needs to in order for like the events in the future to unfold the way they need to. Or it maybe was that line by Alice completely unrelated, but I just thought that wording was interesting.
I mean, she's been sort of playing riddles with him the entire time. Like, you're not the end game here. Like, you're just a small part of a larger story. Do you want to see the story? Kind of. Because
Okay, so it is the story is what
I think that's what she's implying. Like, you're literally just Ken. This is not your story.
yeah.
Like this, you just like a small
You're a
part
small piece.
of this, and then we see what it is that he sees. We see, okay, so it goes. He sees the Night King.
Yep.
Or the others.
Uh-huh.
He sees the dead dragons, and then he sees 3 eggs.
The red comet.
Get the red comet, and we get fucking Daenerys in his fucking vision, bro. Oh my god! I was watching this at work. Thankfully, there was nobody in the office because I fucking started screaming like a dumbass. I swear to God, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It got spoiled.
Yo, that was so freaking cool, man. That was so freaking cool.
It got spoiled to me. By the leak.
Oh, it did.
No.
That was one of the things.
Whoa! Oh my god,
Get
man!
the fuck out of here.
I don't understand when people do that. Like, why would you want to like ruin the experience for other
Take
people?
away that from people.
Yeah,
wow,
like, especially if you
JJ.
yourself are excited about it. And this is the second year in a row as well that the finale has been like spoiled in its entirety. Like,
I keep imagining like how I felt when I saw Brendan Rivers be one of my favorite Song of Ice 5 characters. Like, how would it felt to see Dany as I watched the episode in context?
Oh no!
As soon as I saw that he touched the weirwood tree, I knew where it was headed because Brandon was not. That was great. That was fresh. But Dany was. So, and then people posted, "Oh, she is Prince that was promised." So, I'm like, "Oh, I see what they're doing. I see what they did." And I saw a picture of her sitting down with the dragon.
The back. Yeah.
Wow. God. That is so messed up, man. That is so
people
messed
post
up.
it because it gains traction and engagement and whatever. And they
I
don't
hope
really
their
care
accounts
about...
get banned for ruining that.
I
I really do.
Because that's big. That's really,
Huge.
really big.
Huge.
That's a huge spoiler.
It's for me. It's like I can't even focus on anything else in that episode of just that sequence alone. Like not only
That
do we
sequence
see,
on its own.
it stands on its own. Like and not only do you see the others in the whites, you see like it's through a point of view, like we talked about through a wolf, which we can assume it's Ghost. Jon Snow's a dire wolf, and the dragons see all the dead dragons. I thought that was Jon Snow walking. I thought it might be Daemon.
I
but
mean, it's someone they don't show.
Mhm.
Like we just see the legs of somebody walking through like
But
bloody battlefield.
But Daemon is wearing like sleepwear, like pajamas when he's drowning, and the person that's
Right.
walking is wearing like leather boots, leather armor.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
like when I saw that the person walking either Night King or Jon Snow.
Oh, interesting. Like for me, I wasn't like thinking of them because like we just saw the Night King. I wasn't thinking of Jon Snow at all. All I saw was like somebody walking through, and then it turns into Daemon drowning.
Yeah, because it could be
So I didn't even think much of
that-
it. But that's
It could be that it's another walking through what they've left
That's
on the
true.
field.
It's the
you know?
victors. It's the victors on that battlefield walking through the carnage.
Because what the show is implying and what the series have always implied is that dragons and the others sort of like have some sort of a connection. No dragons are magic. No magic in the world. The others are marching to bring nothing. That they are nothing. It's called a song of ice and fire, right? A song of ice and fire. The others are silence. The silence, the song.
The ice part of it.
Like
the stillness, like there's nothing in there.
There's nothing.
Whereas
When you
fire
ask, like,
is
what
so
is there-
lively.
Fire is destructive, but fire is also life.
Yeah.
Two cannot coexist without each other, ice and fire. So that's kind of what elemental, like when you think of the elements and all that in the world, like for me, song is the humanity, like us, human beings, human beings in this world. I mean, ice, the north, the snow, the winter's coming, the others, fire, obviously the dragons and the magic. So all of that kind of creates this coexist with the humanity. So
yeah,
I don't know, like the way that sequence went, my first thought, because of ghost vision, I'm like, it's Jon Snow.
that makes sense.
But it could also be the one of the others, literally walking to the carnage of dead dragons to take over the world, because that's what they're waiting for dragons to die so that they can start marching. That's kind of what's happening in the current saga. Until Daenerys births the dragons again, as just because the story quite literally opens up. There's no dragons in the world, and others are literally killing people. So
and then Daenerys bringing the dragons back gives humanity a chance to actually fight them off. The prince
fighting. Prince that was
and speaking of,
what you were saying,
because JJ, you were saying that canonically in the book, when Dany goes through like the fire with the dragons and everything, she loses all of her hair. And so what I was thinking was, if this is Aegon having this dream and he's telling the story afterwards, and he just gets a glimpse of the back of somebody with a shaven head or no hair, and then 3 dragons, I would say prince. Right? I would assume it would be male.
A boy,
you don't see anything or a boy, exactly. Maybe someone who's like young boy prince, that sort of thing, because you don't see any hair, and because you were saying like you wish that they had gone back to the books and actually not had the braids there. But even with the braids there, because Targaryen men do have like long hair.
Most of them have long hair, yeah.
Maybe they don't braid it the same way that the women do, but they still have long hair. And so again, could just be, Aegon like just getting these, visions, these scenes really quickly, just sees like the back of, somebody with white hair, he knows it's a Targaryen, and then has, 3 dragons, and just, doesn't, think
the first assumption is going to be that
it's
even if you're having some sort of a vision or a dream and you see something, it may not be like clear to you. Do you know what I mean? Even
Exactly.
if Danny
Yes.
had hair in this vision, like it could just be blurry. So
Yeah,
and
exactly.
again, a man would assume a man. No one,
Exactly.
no one.
Yeah.
And
Dude was
even
man.
her uncle says that like no one expected a girl. The
Yeah.
translation tricked us all. Dragons are neither male or female. They are as changeable as flame. Because it's implied the Valyrian language itself is not gendered in a lot of ways. So prince, princess can be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the
And
deal,
like the
though.
important part of that scene is that it's a Targaryen with dragons, not that if it's a boy or girl.
Right, correct. Targaryen will be seated on the throne to fight the others. That's what the Song of Ice and Fire is. But here's the fucking problem: like, it doesn't. Why does it matter? In the grand scheme of things, like I always, for a long time, I believed the House of the Dragon is sort of like working more towards the books themselves, like the unpublished books, and like to build onto that, almost like a giant promotion for the two books. Because you've seen the show, Kari. You saw Danny, and in your head, you know how this ends.
Yeah.
Like the show, the Game of Thrones show. So it's like she dies a mad woman stabbed by her lover when he tricks her into a hug and a kiss. Brutal. It's violent end to her after she literally killed an entire city. So like, I could sit there and be excited of seeing like image of Danny and like her being the prince that was promised or whatever the vision was Daemon was having, and I'm like, that's beautiful, but I know the outcome.
Yeah.
It's like you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube for me. It's very difficult to get excited over it unless this is signaling towards the book canon, because Martin has said many times it's different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hope so.
I'm hoping like hard.
Yeah. You mentioned like Brandon in the Game of Thrones show didn't have the birthmark, and here they include it. So like,
thank you.
There's like things that I think maybe they're trying to like introduce. They also did say in the very first episode of in the very first scene with Cregan Stark, the story of Alysanne and I forget the husband, but when they go to the wall and their dragons refuse to go over, which is different than how things play out in the show. And that was something that I believe you had said, JJ, that was sort of new canon that George introduced after the finale of Game of Thrones to be like, no, this isn't just a thing that dragons can just cross. There's like more to it than that. And so there's
there are contradictions.
That there are contradictions between the show and the books and
so hopefully that means that they're
books.
That's why
hopefully they're decanonizing
all of those things. To me, signal that House of the Dragon is like kind of saying maybe inadvertently Game of Thrones ending was not good.
I mean, absolutely it is.
They cannot be ignorant about this. They can't be ignorant about the fact that everybody hated it.
You know what I'm going to choose to believe in my headcanon? That's the last season of House of the Dragons, they're going to give us the true ending of fucking Game of Thrones.
Because they definitely could give us like the end of the war and then show us like the actual like aftermath, like on a longer term. Not that they're because they're showing us like the visions here, and if they actually like give us here's actually what's going to happen, and if it lines up with maybe when the books get released, maybe they'll have the canon. I'm trying not to bring your hopes up too much, but
no, I know. Trust me, I've been in the trenches for 13 years.
I know.
That's the last time that last book was released 13 years ago. So trenches.
Because so we get the seasons every 2 years, right? So we're gonna have 2 years for season 3, and then 2 years for season 4, so 6 years. So Mr. Martin, you have 6 years to finish your freaking book. You have 6 years to finish your book.
He's been like,
so we can get the true Game of Thrones endings.
Because you know what, he's noisy on his blog, but not as of late. Yeah. And also like there's like a new set of Game of Thrones books, and I'm like with the new artwork, and I'm like, Mr. Martin, don't look good when you do that. When you're trying to like not new covers on your existing books when you know what the people want. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think Winds of Winter is around the corner. I do think House of the Dragon, this is me on copium, is signaling towards books more so than the Game of Thrones ending, because if they are ending this House of the Dragon with implying that, like, oh yeah, Dany was prince that was promised, but I'm going to fucking lose it.
No. I can't.
They're going to do a big speech of like, yes, Daenerys was prince that was promised with the birthing of dragons, being mother of the dragons, but all that power will get to your head one day, ladies.
No, I can't. Because the way they presented this vision, way they presented
Throw it in the
this vision,
garbage. No.
it's being presented as something that's extremely important and extremely sacred, you know? So, and extremely, like, to the point where Daemon fucking changes his tune 100%. Like, we need to get this to happen so we could get this person with those dragons at the end.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be the one.
Because winter is coming.
He literally says
winter is coming.
Yeah, he says it.
Rhaenyra arriving at Harrenhal and like,
she
doesn't know what to expect. Like, I don't know what her plan was.
I think she was just going to confront him, and then either, like, Cyrax is standing up above.
Cyrax was there, like,
she has sea smoke, so it's kind of like if Daemon doesn't behave,
he acts out.
She's got backup. Not only outside the gates, came flying and standing right above the opening right there in the castle.
No, you're right. I forgot.
I want somebody
to
jump.
ready to make a move. Like, I think
somebody
she was ready to make a move, and she would have been like,
burn some shit.
"If you don't
somebody
follow
jump.
me, like, no, seriously." I think she was ready to actually like make a big move if Daemon wasn't.
Rhaenyra's life was in danger.
Yeah. Okay, but before we get to that, we need to finish. Because Daemon sees Rhaenyra on the throne.
Oh yeah.
So that's just like basically is okay. So if we want all of this, this woman needs to be on that throne for everything else to happen, and that you saw that needs to happen. This woman needs to be on the throne, and then we get Helena.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Oh yeah.
Making that is like, yo, this is just but a part, and you know your part. So again, just set the vision, like, Helena probably for real telling him, like, your part is making sure that Rhaenyra gets to that throne.
Yeah.
That's your fucking part. Because we need you to help her get there so we could get this in the future.
Yes.
And then now we get to immediately Helena at King's Landing. Basically looks like she just stepped out of the vision herself.
Correct. Yes. It was the most confusing thing that I've ever seen on the show.
Yeah.
The way they were playing.
But it also, like, the
vision. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The way... No, you're fine. The way that I saw it was that the vision ended when Helena starts talking, because everything in the background goes black, and then it's just the two of them in the vision. And then he lets go of the weirwood tree, but he can still hear her voice. She says, the last thing she says is, "You know what you must do." And then we cut to Helena. And to me, when I saw Helena's face, I thought that she had just finished saying that sentence. Like, her face looked like she just finished talking. And then, like, and that she's aware of, like, what he had just seen. It could be that I'm projecting, but they have been, doing these scene transitions pretty deliberately. And so I like, to me, it kind of signals that, like, Helena knows what's going on. Maybe Helena and Alice, there's like some sort of, like, there's some connection there happening, because I don't think it's a coincidence that it's Helena wearing the clothes that she's currently wearing in exactly in the next scene.
This is new for me too. None of this is in Fire and Blood or any of the A Song of Ice and Fire books. Like, when I was texting you guys, I was like, it's somebody skin changing into somebody, which is an ability of a green seer would have to, like, take a mind over or skin of, like, an animal, but they can do it to humans, which is very deeply frowned upon to do that. Unless, and you guys have noticed, obviously, that Helena's visions have been a lot more specific, a lot more clear. Like, when she's talking to Aemon, like, you tried to kill Aegon. I saw it. Number one. Number two, you will die. God's eye will swallow you and you will never be heard from again. And Aegon will be
And that
Aegon will be
in a
king, sitting on a wooden
a
throne.
wooden throne.
Yeah,
basically
he will see victory, is what she said, or he
a,
has yet to see
a
victory.
wheelchair. I'm going to assume if they make wheelchairs, they're going to
That's
Yeah.
be wooden because he can't walk or he's disabled.
Yeah.
Basically. So
And that
very
she's
specific
getting
things.
those visions are getting clear, but she's also talking with more confidence. She's not, because normally we get Helena and she talks, she's like she seems very anxious, very, jittery and stuff. Now she's just like completely like standing up straight, looking at her. She looked at him in the eye and directly just like talking to him all the time. So we see that change in her.
It's quite possible
So
that the Brandon Rivers, again, this is a mysterious character. A casual viewer is not going to know any of this stuff, but it could be him playing some, I don't want to call it a game. I mean, there is a threat coming that's actually very real, sort of bridging the two, the Targaryen and Alice Rivers being of the old gods, being strong. I'm going to assume that's what her heritage is. So I don't know if Alice might be using Helena, like glamoring into her or skin changing into her or getting into her mind, like, because Helena has proven to have prophetic visions and Alice sort of taking over her amplifies them more. So she sees a lot more clearly. I'm very
I'm
curious.
I'm trying to think of like the most recent Helena scenes that we've seen, other than like being attacked outside of the sept. There was one where she was, I forget which episode this was, but there's one where she's got like all these little boxes of insects and she's talking and muttering to them. So she's still like, this seems to be a new change in her, like this focus and confidence and this clarity of vision. And I wonder, but she did have like a clear idea of what happened between Aegon and Aemond when Aemond comes back, as she goes up to him and she's like, was it worth it? Very, very like, very focused, very clear-minded about what she knows and what she's saying to him. And so I wonder if like something happened, there's some sort of shift there. Maybe, yeah, like maybe it has something to do with Alice potentially like you were saying, what was it, the skin changing or something? Or maybe it is Brendan Rivers like working through her telepathically. And I wonder if maybe like, I mean, the timing doesn't really line up, but I wonder if like the trauma of what she went through with Blood and Cheese sort of unlocked something in her, and she's like, instead of constantly like being like fearful, she sort of like it sort of like flipped a switch, and she's like these dreams or these prophecies that she's having, instead of constantly being like afraid of them, maybe she's like allowing them to kind of happen and she's seeing them more clearly. I don't know if that's how dragon dreams work at all. I'm just that's the thing. Throwing stuff out there.
There is no answer to any of that. It is so vague. It is so like one-off, like, and I think that's what makes the world so interesting, is because you're not going to get a specific answer. He's not going to give you a crutch to solve a plot line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I love that. I love like the thinking
great.
of different possibilities, and with Helena, I wonder if, I don't know what they're going to do in the next season, but I love that it's like we're getting to see this part of her that was unexpected. Like I wasn't, did not think that this would happen through Helena. I didn't even think we would like really see much of her, and that it would just be like Alice being like, the witch with the magic. Yeah, I'm glad that they did this change, because you were saying, JJ, like in the book, she's basically incapacitated by grief and doesn't really do much after what happens with Blood and Cheese. And I really like this change with Helena, and I'm excited to see. Mm-hmm.
All we know about Helena is that, again, the Blood and Cheese destroys her completely to a point she cannot take care of the children, Maelor and Hera, and Alicent becomes their surrogate mother, essentially, takes care of the kids. And that's the end of it. And then, without spoiling, she's given a lot more to do here, a whole different characterization. And even the author has said that this is a way better version than his version.
Yeah.
Just like Viserys.
I hope they keep... Yeah.
He likes Viserys.
I was just going to say...
House of the Dragon more than he does his own. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was going to say, I hope they keep the mystery around Alice and Helena, like that they give us enough that we're kind of like, okay, like there's rules here that are being followed without telling us what those rules are. Like keep the magic, magic. You don't have to explain everything, but make it believable that what does happen, feels like it's within some parameters that have been defined.
It's what they're doing with that. Like, it's very interesting to me. I'm curious about the behind the scenes commentary, what they're going to say about it. I'm curious what they're going to say about Daenerys' vision, playing into the red comet, the stone eggs being hatched. Azor Ahai will be born when darkness gathers and the red star bleeds, reborn to, yeah.
Oh, interesting. So what's with the comet? Because I mean, obviously I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I know the Daenerys scene. It's like it's everywhere, but I don't know what the comet is. Oh,
yeah, right in the beginning, there's a red comet.
Okay.
Okay. In the opening, essentially, it's like an omen, good or bad, depending where you're from.
Interesting. Okay.
If you are like in ancient Valyria, to you it looks like a dragon's tail because it's red. Bleeding star, blood star. Like, it could be bad, or it could be something good. A burning sword, like Arya sees her father's sword. There's many. Depending which region of the world you're from, what your culture is, what your religion is, you will interpret that comment in your own way.
Okay.
Some see it as a good
thing. Are the comments
bad thing?
But are they like magical in any sense, or it's just like a comment happens and then people interpret it however they? Okay.
And people interpret it however they want. Yeah, just like if you go outside right now and you see a comet, like,
yes,
what does it mean?
Okay.
So depending where you're from, how you were raised, what part of the world you were at, what your culture is, what your religion is, you will make up your own mind about. Like dragons, for example. What is there? How did it come to exist? There's a legend in Essos that there are two moons in the sky, and sun is like, why is there two moons? And the sun crashes into the second moon. The moon explodes, and dragons come out.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh.
That's so cool.
Just one tale. Another tale is the Valyrians were quite literally fucking the wyverns. They were doing like genetic experimentation. Or they were like taking wyverns and fireworms that are wingless and like blood magic and killing a bunch of people to do it. I like the moon bursting. Wow. It's
that's really cool. It's like, that's so cool. A fucking moon burst.
A moon burst. Yeah. So that's why, like, you have to take a lot of things with a grain of salt, and also, like, you're transported into different regions of this world. Everybody, every family has their own story about it.
That's really cool.
Okay, so that's really cool.
So, like, it kind of challenges you to look at the world not just from your own perspective, but from a different point of view. Why would this person see it this way? Like the wildlings, like we talked about the wildlings that Jon Snow has to free. Like, some see them as rapists and thieves and all of that. They're just literally free men that live. They don't want to have a king. They just want to live. But they technically do. But they technically have a king, king beyond the wall. They still have a king, but they don't. But like, there's different So people look at him differently. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Martin is challenging you to look at the world from like every point of view and every angle.
Yeah.
So the comet, it's a good thing.
That's why the books are so big.
That's why they're so big. Correcto.
I love it.
All right, so now we get to Daemon actually freaking finally in front of everybody giving Rhaenyra her respect.
Yes.
Oh my God. I was like, Daemon, I love you so fucking much.
I
was like, can never make me hate this man.
No.
Haters.
Nope. Even when he's bad, you can't make me hate him.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, but
don't cast Matt Smith in anything.
I think that we're gonna have freaking fun over him.
Please. Please.
Come on. People are funning over Aemond. You know what they're doing. They knew what they were doing with the casting.
Correct.
But I love this that, he's just the 180 that he gave on him, on Rhaenyra, like, it was just a beautiful thing that he finally fucking realized what his place was and what Rhaenyra's place is and where he needs to be. And that's on his knees. Bending that knee for her,
and
making sure that everybody fucking sees that shit. Because he says, what is it that he says? You are the true queen, Rhaenyra. you are the, and then he starts doing the names and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, what was it that he said? Oh, I forgot what
I
it
wish
was. But
I
he
was
was
so
just like,
excited by it.
he said, that he told everybody, he's like, yo, this
Yeah.
is what we're going to do. Yo, we fight for our queen. When he
Yes.
fucking screamed that, I fucking screamed back. I was like, fuck yes, let's go.
Finally.
We got Daemon.
Yeah.
Daemon in full effect now with his full fucking senses and actually like, thinking straight without having just to be like always like reacting first. Amazing. It's going to be fucking beautiful.
And not even that. Daemon in Valyrian talking about the vision.
I love that.
Saying, like, winter is coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He said, winter's coming with darkness and doom.
Darkness and doom.
And what you said, Sue, he actually saw Aegon, like he was worthy enough to see fucking Aegon's vision, because that's basically what Aegon saw.
Yeah. Yeah, he got to a place where he was finally worthy of getting Aegon's dream and seeing the full story and seeing what's going to happen and seeing those big stakes and finally seeing outside of himself, because that's one of the things that like Daemon that we've seen so far is like, yes, he does have loyalties and yes, he does care about, Kitty. He does care about, like Targaryens and like the family and everything, but everything is still so centered around himself. Right? And in this scene in particular, and I'm sure we're going to see this play out later on, he is now seeing beyond that. He's seeing like the big picture, and he starts off with like, this is not, what is he saying? This world is not what we thought it was. This is just the beginning, or this was just this. Yeah, this was just the beginning. So like now he's understanding that like all of the things that he's doing, it's not. He needs to think beyond just exactly. He needs to think beyond just like the now, the Rhaenyra being on the throne. Like it's not just about that. Like that is important, but there's a reason why it's important, and there's a reason why he needs to do his part.
Yeah. And it's a full circle moment because season 1, Daemon is dreams did not make us kings, dragons did. Dream did make you a king.
Yeah.
Because Aegon probably wouldn't have conquered Westeros had he not had the dream.
No. Yeah.
He's
and
not back like you read about Aegon the Conqueror. You're sure the Conqueror moniker will tell you that he might have been a crazy warlord. No, he was extremely melancholic and extremely lonely. Himself.
Wow.
He does not have a personality of somebody who wants to go to war and kill and conquer. Like when you read accounts of him from multiple different people, this is somebody who was very like
into himself.
Oh wow!
So
I rewatched. Sorry, I went back and rewatched the scene where Viserys tells Rhaenyra about Aegon's dream, and he says the same thing. Like he wouldn't have conquered had he not had this dream. And then he explains the dream, and Kari, like you were saying, like the dream, the Song of Ice and Fire that Viserys explains to Rhaenyra, plays out with like almost exactly the same as the vision that Daemon has. So and it's interesting as well because he was so like offended at the fact that Viserys never gave him that, never entrusted him with that, and Rhaenyra like basically throws it in his face last season. But now he like finally sees it, he understands, and now he understands Rhaenyra, he gets it, and Rhaenyra I think understands that now he gets it.
Okay guys, I'm having an issue with my computer. Yeah, the thing is that I don't know what's going on with because I'm on my daughter's computer, and I think the storage, because this takes a lot. Yeah, so just real quick, because I just want to, so we can wrap up real quick, so it doesn't. So okay, just real quick, Alicent
shows up at Dragonstone and repeats everything that the fans have been saying forever. That you're a hypocrite.
Final Scooby-Doo mission.
You were jealous the whole time. You were hiding under banner of, what was the word?
Banner of virtue.
Virtue. Thank you.
Yes.
The banner of virtue. Like, you broke rules. I did everything right. I'm going to get mine.
Yeah.
She mentioned.
I think the Greens are gonna. Team Green is gonna go kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, because she
didn't know this. Because Rhaenyra, she's like,
Rhaenyra's like, I'm gonna walk into Red Keep. I'm gonna have to your son because that's what I have to do, and I have to do it in front of everybody. Like, you understand that needs
but
to
you
happen.
understand. Yeah.
And Allison's
and
like,
she says,
she nods.
she accepts it. She accepts
I love
that
she accepts that she accepts the fact that, yeah, I did all of this because it was my duty. I was jealous of you and how you were able to just be out free in the wind. And you know what? Now I want to be the one that's free. I just want to go out and do my own shit. But you know they're gonna talk shit about you. I don't give a fuck. I want to go out and do my shit. I'm not gonna be nowhere near all this crap. And what JJ you said in the chat about the imagery of Allison just walking free, but then we see Rhaenyra kind of like behind bars. The bars, like, it's a full circle because at the beginning it was Allison that was bound by her duty, by her whatever she was raised, and Rhaenyra was free and doing whatever the hell he wants. Now it's the opposite. Allison's gonna be like, I'm out to the wind, I'm out chilling, and now Rhaenyra has to stay because she has that duty that's keeping her. Now is gonna keep her bound to what she needs to do. Also, one thing that I want to point out about Allison, there was a moment that she started chewing on her fingers, which is her reverting back to that little nervous, scared child, because she used to do that a lot when she was younger. I was like, oh my God. I was like, she's back into that. So yeah, that was crazy that Allison actually chose not Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And Rhaenyra, like she calls her out on it too. She says, you're still trying to like get everything your way. And she's like, you can't have that. You can't have, like, you started this by your own hand. Like, yes, I mean, it's not her fault entirely, but she's like, yeah, you birthed it. Essentially, like, it's not just you, but you it was your hand that brought it forth. And without that, it wouldn't have, reached this level. And then now you're trying to just wash your hands like of it. Like, you can't do that. Yeah. And you can't, negotiate your way around, everybody winning. Like, you can't do, like, that's not how this works. Aegon has to die publicly in order for there to no longer be a threat to her on the throne.
A threat to her, or her kids.
Exactly.
Essentially, what Otto was saying, like, she's a danger to your kids. Like, you are the challenge, Aegon. Yeah. You are the challenge.
Yes.
And
had they not challenged, there wouldn't have been an issue.
And then she says, a son for a son.
Son for a son. Son for a son. Damn. Yeah. She walks out, and then everybody's gathering. Starks are coming. They're on the high towers. Velaryons are sailing to meet the Triarch.
The pirates.
The Essos. Oh my God. Oh my God. Next season cannot come soon enough. Because I told you guys, fucking blue balls over here. I'm like,
Oh my God, sorry.
I'm sorry, Monica.
Oh, the Starks. Did we talk about the Starks? The Greybeards also coming down? Yep. There you go.
Otto's prisoner. Cregan is like, oh yes, old men. Have you seen the old men?
Have you seen them? I looked at them and I was like,
excuse me?
Yeah.
Force to be reckoned with.
Send them my way, of course. Always. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and final. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, are we gonna be sexualizing senior citizens?
JJ,
come on. Have you seen people doing edits of Otto? It's already been happening.
Fan edits of Tywin and Otto.
And Simon. People have been doing edits of Simon.
Simon's strong edit.
Dude, you already know this fandom is gonna go.
You already know we are gonna be simping on older men.
I sexualize girls dance daily, so yeah.
Yeah.
My Tywin fever is real.
Oh man.
All right, guys. So just final thoughts, real quick.
I was gonna say, did we say Aegon and Larys escaped?
Yes,
like that was like I think one of the final. We spoke. Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember if we mentioned it or not.
Yeah. And Rhaena finds Sheep Stealer. We talked about that. Yeah, we covered a lot of things.
Yeah. In the beginning. So that was
okay. Good. We can cut this part out then.
No. So, quick final thoughts, guys. JJ, final thoughts.
Future. Lore was luring. I got my old guy.
Magic was magicking.
We were translating on Brendan Rivers' appearance, the three-eyed raven, the Daenerys confirmed as Princess Promise, the red comment. Look, 10 out of 10. I'm just going fast.
No, I'm sorry, guys. It's my computer. Okay, Sue, real quick.
Same. Like this episode was just like I said before, they wrapped up all of the storylines really well. They gave us all of this like cool magic, all like with the visions and with Helena, and like I'm just really excited to see where this all goes. And I think this season they did a really good job setting everything up for the war to come. So now when we actually get into like all of the crazy bloodshed and everything that's going to happen and all of the losses, we're maybe we're not ready for it, but now like we're ready in terms of the story.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
No, like you guys said, absolutely amazing. I was like, geeking out on all the magic and all the lore. Because in Star Wars, that's basically one of my most favorite things is anything has to do with Force lore.
Yes.
Anything with the mysticism, the magic, And also that this episode did not leave us with questions, like with things that didn't make sense in a bad way. There were things that didn't make sense, like for example with the Alice and the Helena thing at the end, but it's not a bad thing. It's just that's just the way that it works with magic. But there wasn't like, but why did they do this? But what does it mean? Why would it? Why did they go that way? Like there was nothing of that in this episode. This episode wrapped up the whole season,
everything like
perfectly for me.
Daemon paid the whole thing with Daemon paid off. Yeah. Even with Allison, like finally clean with a lot of things. Like I was waiting for that character to come clean, and it worked for me. And that was the whole point of the water scene.
That was the point of her.
They were kind of losing me a little bit with that scene, but
I
didn't know what they were doing. Is she going to be reborn a villain? Like I am going to really, really go hard.
I thought she was maybe going to run away. Just be like,
immediately.
Screw this and just
then and there. Yeah. Okay, guys, this is going to wrap up this episode of the Temple of Geek podcast. We want to thank everyone who tuned in today, and especially our guests for being here with us today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit us up on Facebook or Twitter by using the handle Temple of Geek. Do you want to check out some of our other episodes or shows? Why don't you head over to templeofgeek.com where you will find all sorts of content that pertain to the world of geek. Again, thank you guys for being here. This was amazing, and two more years we'll be doing this again. So